Welcome to the channel. This is Yasida, the spiritual samurai. The modern world is full of poison. So a lot of people say it's because of social media, but I would say it's a combination of that and just human nature. Human nature in its toxic form. And also the fact that most humans, it is very easy to mind control the majority of them, which makes it very hard to trust the average person. But what makes today so bad? What makes it worse? Well, you know, again, human nature has always been human nature. But I think that with social media, because most people incline to what is negative, because negativity sells, toxicity sells, and also looking at how social media literally infiltrates every aspect of your life. There's a lot of cancerous mindsets being spread, being glorified. They're all programmed to think a certain way. They're all programmed with a mentality that is very materialistic, consumeristic, self-centered as fuck. The fact that this toxicity, man, adultery, all that shit is being glorified today. Or they talk shit about the opposite gender all day, every day, even though they are fucked up themselves. But then they glorify narcissistic, abusive behavior. They don't care about building. Oh, you could forget about that. The modern world is not about building anything. All you see is broken homes, and real love is extinct. Real connections are dead. It's like it gets to a point where you can't even really show people your light because they look at it as a weakness. They look down on true righteousness. They look down on real, genuine love. And I don't want to be around goofy ass bitches that brag about how they destroy other men. Like, that is ridiculous. See, as a woman, when you hear another woman talk about how much she wants to destroy an innocent man, it makes my blood boil, because you have all this heat for a good man, but you don't have that for the wicked man that, quote unquote, that you are sick of. But they'll put those evil men on a pedestal. They'll look up to them because she's evil too, and she wants to learn from him. She wants to get some tips on how to destroy God's people, So it's messed up. It's messed up, and I cannot work around people that with that mindset, because they'll tell on themselves. You don't have to say anything. We live in a society that glorifies self-absorption and narcissistically abusive behavior. I mean, look at the type of culture that we have in the West, and how that has, how you could see how it reflects on all the other people that have suffered at the hands of the divided states. The divided states has done a lot of damage to the world. They have, and the modern world is so poisonous that sometimes you got to take a break from social media, because social media, somebody told me, I remember somebody used to tell me, why aren't you on social media like that, or whatever? Because there was a time where I didn't even want an account. Why don't you have one? You can pick and choose what you want to see in your feed. You can click like, you can whatever. It's like, that's not the case, because the algorithm is gonna push what they want to push. And I noticed that because even on YouTube, and you probably can say this for yourself too, they'll push all types of retarded shit that I don't watch. An agenda, they're pushing an agenda. You got the men hate women, women hate men, the politics and all this stuff. Honestly, the way I look at it, politics in the West, right, so-called the divided states, I don't trust the narrative, whatever narrative they're pushing, right? If they want to make you hate a group of people, I'm not gonna buy it, because if I sometimes, okay, if I have not been wronged by somebody personally, See, I judge a person by the individual. Okay, if this person has not wronged me, I'm not gonna hate them, right? So why would I hate a whole collective group of people that I don't even fucking know? You know, but see, that's what they do. They want to divide, and that's what they do, and that's what they push. All of that. So here's the thing, like what I see, all right, when I look at politics, all I see is them making their little moves to make you hate another group of people. They have been doing this since forever, since the very beginning of, you know, the birth of this nation, you know, basically, which is called, which equals the destruction of many people that were already in this land. So when it comes to the political stuff, you know, you gotta really take it with a grain of salt, whatever narratives they're painting. You know, how they literally will try to paint a whole group of people as being terrible, being evil, oh, they're this and that, not realizing the person that is controlling the media is what you need to pay attention to. Also, they like to give certain privileges to people in order to create anger and hostility among others. When you really break this down into like a social experiment, you know, really look at it as if you were an evil genius, and you look at it as a social experiment, like, okay, obviously you have all these prisoners, right? And then you divide the prisoners by certain groups, and then you decide that you want to give preferential treatment to one group. Now you got 3 groups that want to destroy that one group. So in essence, the guard or the ward of the prison doesn't have to really put his hands on these group of people, because now you found a way how to get 3 groups of people to go against one, just like that. And then they'll switch it around. They'll play with it like a chessboard. These are psychopaths that are in charge of the world. That's how they do it. And that's how they get us to hate each other. And then they keep using these narratives, man. And then they have a whole history of racism and hate and all that, so they can use that to their advantage to reopen old wounds, right? And then again, because the divided states cannot be redeemed, because there's too much bloodshed on this country. It's too much. Since the beginning of you know this. So there is so much pain that they can use, so much trauma that they can use against groups, to keep them at the bottom, to keep them from rising, to keep them from uniting and actually going against the real evil system that's actually the problem. But because most people don't see through that, because most people don't see it like that, you're going to see people at each other's throats. Even though we have a rise in homelessness, we have a rise of, well, actually not a rise, but a decrease in birth rate, decrease in families, but a rise in broken homes and stuff like that. Actually, you can't even have babies because some people can't even have a home because it's become so expensive. Going back to that little prison experiment analogy, the ward or the guards, they don't have to do anything, and they're the ones behind it. They're the ones behind the whole operation. And guess what? The prisoners are not going to attack the war. Maybe they might attack the guards, you know, because they know they're the problem. But the real smart ones would try to figure out how to escape by understanding the inner workings of that facility. That comes with, you have to have a genius mind to find out how you should dig that tunnel, or how to escape, where the cameras are not, which angles do the cameras not capture. Like, it goes really deep, but people aren't thinking like that. They're not trying to figure out how to escape the prison, because the sad thing about it is they don't even realize they're in prison. They don't realize that. They think that's their home now. And so now you have three groups of people going against one, because one of them is getting preferential treatment. But then guess what happens? Now they're going to triangulate group number 2 with the preferred group, and then they're going to fight each other. They're going to get some group to throw the other group under the bus. You know, they use all types of manipulation tactics, literally very identical to the narcissist and what they do. The love bombing, they're love bombing one group. Oh, they're getting preferential treatment. Everybody's mad as hell. Then they're triangulating one group with another. Now they can get group number 3 and group number 2 to fight each other, even to the point they forgot about the privileged group now, right? Because now you have that. You're creating fresh fresh beef, basically, new conflicts, new problems. And then group number 4, nobody had a problem with group number 4, but now they do, because they always find a way to get you to antagonize each other. Everything's becoming so expensive. Homelessness is rising. They want to distract us so bad that we never grow. That is what the goal is for them. That's what they want to do. They want to make you complacent. They want to make you forget about your potential. They want to basically fill your brain with nothing but garbage so that you never actually excel in anything. All you're thinking about is survival, survival, survival. I hate these people. I hate those people. And everybody's at each other's necks, not realizing who the fuck made you hate this person, who the fuck was behind that. And it's so sad because a lot of people are too stupid to figure it out. I'm sorry, they just are, man. Because like, I am set apart, and I don't subscribe to the nonsense of this world. I don't subscribe to the bullshit. I don't believe everything that I'm told or that I read. I always make sure that I test the spirit. I make sure that, hey, has this person wrong? Like, let me give you an example, right? Like, this is schoolyard shit. Let's say someone comes up to me talking shit about somebody from class or whatever, and they want me to say something. It's like, well, why? I don't know this person. I don't know their personal life. I don't know what happened to them. I'm not gonna talk shit about a person that is not there to defend themselves. I'm not. And the same goes for when people talk about different ethnic groups, religious groups, whatever, right? I'm not gonna talk, because I don't hate any groups. I don't have hatred in my heart to that extent. However, the only thing that I truly do hate is evil and wickedness, and whoever falls in that line of evil and wickedness, then yeah, that's what I hate. And when you look at it in terms of good versus evil, then it becomes easier to see. But again, I'm not going to talk about I'm going to generalize a whole group of people. Because I'll be honest with you, in my personal life, I've been hurt by all types of different people of different backgrounds. And then, but on the flip side, I've encountered some amazing people of all types of backgrounds. So I can't just hate, a whole entire group or a whole entire religion. You can tell by their actions. You can tell if they're abusive or not. Because a good person doesn't just switch on and off. Oh, yeah, they're going to be nice one moment, then they're going to be abusive all of a sudden. Especially if it's a pattern. If this person is like love bombing you, then they abuse you, then they love bomb you, then they abuse you. And then you get confused because you're like, you start to question, are they really abusing me? Or, I don't know, because they're love bombing me. See, the love bombing is intended to confuse you. It's not even real. They don't love you. They want to bomb you, though. They want to bomb your soul, but back to the topic. I can see through a lot of this bullshit in this world, Since the inception of the divided states, they literally hijacked lands of people that were already here. So what makes you think that they're gonna even give a fuck about anybody else that's not them, It's just, to me, it doesn't surprise me. Like, the fact that people are surprised that, oh, he wants to get rid of certain people, but he's showing favoritism to a certain group. That shouldn't be a surprise. The fact that you're surprised shows that you actually believe in the illusion of, we're all inclusive here. Yeah. In the land of the free, I still see videos of Muslim women being harassed. They seem to have this hatred toward Muslim women for some reason. Like, they really, and I'm noticing who are the ones that hate them. Well, a lot of times they're either racist or they're ignorant. They don't live a moral life. And then you mean to tell me that they want to bring the Dutch refugees from South Africa, quote unquote refugees. They're not refugees, but that's what they want to label them. They get that title, yet they didn't give that to the people that actually have been getting bombed for decades now. but they want to paint them like they're awful people. They want to dehumanize them, say that they are the terrorists when who's the one terrorizing who? And I'm going to just leave that right there. You know exactly what I'm talking about, because I know how the algorithm is. You say certain words, oh, nobody's going to see this video, right? So the modern world is full of poison because it can cause masses of people to hate certain groups of people, and then they play around with that. They play around with your mind, they play around with your heart to make you look at things in such a fucked up way. And then because of social media being so invasive in people's lives, they use that as a tool to spread all their propaganda. Just a little bit of background. I am a multi-ethnic Latin person. I am somebody who is considered racially ambiguous. So the negative experiences really depends on how that person perceives me. What do they perceive me as? I don't know what people think, because me personally, I like to, whenever I feel shitty, I don't like to release that on other people. When I feel shitty, I like to be by myself in my dark corner, cry it out, scream it out, work out, pray it out, anything like that. I try to avoid having contact with other people when I'm not feeling like myself. I make sure I purge it out and then become cleansed afterwards. And I start to feel good. And then I try to eat clean. I'll put all these things together. Sometimes I might go up for a fast. All these things, but that comes with spirituality. That comes with wisdom, knowing that, hey, I know that when I don't feel like myself, you know what I mean? But even then, it doesn't come with that. I don't know, like, if I'm not feeling like myself, if I don't like a person, it's because that person gave me a reason to not like them. You know what I mean? It's not like, I still don't understand how a person can attack someone that they don't know just because based on how they look. Like, I don't get that. I get like that if that person wronged me. If that individual themselves pissed me off, did something to me, then yeah. My anger, the only time I have anger is when it's justifiable. I don't have this, oh, I hate all these people type of thing. I don't have that, To hate someone because they look different from you, I don't understand that concept. I never understood that, and I don't want to. I basically, I judge a person based on how they treat me and based on their level of integrity and morality. Do they have a moral compass? How do they treat others? Like, this is why I have an appreciation for Islam, right? And I'm not a religious person. I'm not a Muslim. But the way that they unify humans all under a strong faith in God and actually living by it, rather than putting the title on you. Like, no, it's not just a title of what you believe in. It's you actually live by it. Giving back to the poor, making sure that no one's homeless. No one should be homeless. If you truly follow God's laws and you have a good heart, it really should be no homeless people. But of course, in the divided states, the richest country in the world is going to have the highest prison population and the highest homeless population. And a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't do things that will put you in jail. Well, check this out. They create these laws. Whoever's in charge of creating laws, they can create laws where a person sleeping in the streets can end up in jail. Do they deserve to go to jail? Because there's a lot of people down on their luck, and it's pretty shitty that you're going to arrest them for sleeping on the streets. Clearly, they're already in a very dire situation, and you want to make it nearly impossible for them to come up from that. It's retarded. Or even with drug addicts too. They send drug addicts to jail. They need rehabilitation. They don't need to be going to no jail. Jail is full of drugs. So that is a stupid thing for them to do. But that's because they want to keep people battered, broken, and mentally scarred, psychologically abused. They want to destroy. But why do you think the mental illness cases are so high in the divided states? Why is that? They want to destroy as many people as they can. And you might think, well, why would they do that? What do they get out of that? You must not know shit about the devil, because the devil is fueled by wickedness. The devil is fueled by how many souls how many souls are destroyed, basically. The devil loves evil, and the more you fuel that, the more power, quote unquote, so-called power, because it's fake, is not real power. Because at the end of the day, who's the first people to burn when all of that is said and done? Who's the first person to go to hell? With the people doing the devil's work are gonna burn at the end of the day, because the devil has no loyalty. These people think the devil is gonna have loyalty. Are you fucking serious? So, hey, you know what? Please, we need to have strong minds. Exercise having a strong mind. See through the bullshit. We know what they're doing. And honestly, going back to what I said, it should not be a surprise why, all this stuff that's happening, right? It doesn't surprise me. The fact that people are surprised by how shitty, it can get. It just shows, like, I don't know, man, a lot of people were asleep, like, all these years. They really thought that they would be loved and accepted by a system that is operating off of hate. It's just that they know how to hide it. They know how to hide their crime. They know how to hide their hate. They know how to hide all of that. But it never stopped. It never stopped. The divided states, or the divided snakes. Well, no, actually it's the divided states or the united snakes, because the only time they unite is when it's snakes coming together to find out how they can destroy the masses. But there's going to be a huge payment that the snakes have to make, because they can't just get away with all that. You might feel like they are. Oh no, trust me, it's going to get really bad for them. It really is. All these people, think about all the lives that have been destroyed by the united snakes. How many lives have been destroyed? Not just here, but even overseas. And then the lies that they had to create to cover it up. The level of stupidity in this world, in this society, is insane. You can't really, people don't see what is happening. They don't, the fact that, again, if you get emotional about not being accepted by a wicked society, you are delusional as fuck. You still believe in the illusion that, if you could throw somebody under the bus, you're supposed to be doing better. No, you ain't shit if you did that. If you ain't shit, see, let me tell you this is why they hate us. They hate us because regardless of what background we're from, when you have a moral compass, when you have integrity, righteousness, you live by it. You live by God's laws. You refuse to throw someone under the bus just so you can get a little $2 bonus, a little $2 boost to your salary per hour. That little crumbs, right? If all it takes is little crumbs for you to throw someone under the bus, you ain't shit. Seriously. And I remember somebody I used to work with told me that they got done wrong by somebody else. And I'm like, wow, I thought she was your friend. I guess not. Shitty. People are shitty. I don't give a fuck how much money a person is willing to pay me. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, because the fact that the whole premise as to why I would get that, right? That's a shitty way to start. That's a shitty foundation. And that's going to produce nothing but bad fruit. But people who are worldly, people that are carnal minded, they're not going to see the bigger picture. They're just going to take, if it starts under the premise of them, again, doing something that is wrong, that is unethical, I'm not going to do it. And some people might think, oh, I'm stupid for choosing to do the right thing. No, you're fucking stupid because you don't realize the level of karma that's going to come on you. And it's going to hit them when they least expect it. When they least expect it, they're going to be hit with that. And it's going to be sudden. And they're not going to know what to do with themselves. You know, when you're a person that fears God, when you're a person that, you know, truly, again, you will be tested with these type of situations. You will be tested. Your heart, your mind will be, you have to have a lot of fortitude, because they're going to try to make you feel like, oh, you're stupid for not taking that offer. No, I am very wise, because I understand the consequences of misusing energy, of accepting a dark energy that comes in the form of a reward, which is basically selling your soul. That's a form of that. When you decide that you want to throw somebody under the bus, or if you want to do some strange things, if you got to keep secrets, if you know you're accepting bribery, that is a form of selling your soul. You have now lost all integrity, and you've also have lost respect by God and all his angels. Why would I want to do that? You know, but me, again, being a spiritual person, being a person that really takes this walk serious, and then it just goes against everything I stand for. It's not honorable. If it's not honorable, I refuse to do it. And that type of mindset is rare in this society. You know, so they look at me like I'm an alien. Oh my God, really? You're not going to accept this bribery, you know? And this can come in the form of anything when it comes to that bribery, anything, because this world will try to tempt you to do some stupid shit, and you're just like, you have to stand on principles and remain honorable. Because I know one thing with me, the thing about me is that I would rather not be alive than to live dishonorably. I cannot be dishonorable. That's not something that I could live with. I can't do it, right? Now you might think that's extreme, like, well, why do you have to not be alive? You know, so that's how serious it is for me to be dishonorable, because that's not what I was created to be. I was not created to be this, you know, mindless drone, to be this person that is easily swayed by a little bit of money, a little bit of trinkets. And I don't give a fuck how much it is, because even though I'm saying it's a little bit of money, it's gonna always be a little bit of money, even if it's millions of dollars. If I have to do some evil shit, I'm not doing it. Point blank, period. That will never change. Seriously. And I have that confidence. Because my soul has been tested in this life. I know that. I know the depth of my realness. And you have to know that about yourself as well, and keep that alive, because the reward that you will have is a great peace of mind. You're going to have a lot of wisdom. You're going to know how to overcome situations, because when situations come to you, the devil tries to give you a form of comfort so that you could become weak. It's just going to make you weak. You know, easy money, easy this is making you weak. All these 304s getting all this easy money because of simps, right? What is it doing to them? Is it making them better women? Of course not. I don't want to be like that. That's not who I am. I don't care how it makes other people feel. Oh, you think you're better than them? Actually, in a way, I kind of am, because I still have integrity. I'm still willing to expand my mind, my consciousness, get closer to God, and I am not willing to compromise my morals. My morals, my integrity, and my honor mean more than anything. Respect above all things. Fear of God, all of that. That is the foundation of my beliefs, of my faith. Because it's not just a belief, because it's true. It's truth. That is what makes me who I am. And that is not something that I'm just gonna, you know, allow this society to take away. They're not going to take away none of that. My soul will always be with me. Always and forever. And if you feel the same way, I thank you for listening. Take care. And God bless.